And just before we go to the commodities space now, to talk about especially the Naira, let's give you a bit more details about the Central Bank PMI, Purchasing Managers Index, that we talked about earlier with more details. Now, we did see, of course, that for the composite, it's positive at 52.1. But when you look at the sectors, for instance, agriculture, we did see the movement there. If we could have that slide, that would be really helpful at this time. So we have for agriculture, we have for services, and we have for industry. So agriculture, a major pusher at 53.4. That, of course, is heartwarming at this time. And then we see for services at 51.7 and industry at 51.6. So, I mean, this talks a whole lot about activities going on and perhaps connected to the reforms of the federal government, but we'll get a comment or two on that in the course of the program. Just wanted you to see some of those sectors that are majorly driving. We also see new orders also increased, 51.5. We see employment also 52.5. Inventories also 51. And then, of course, we see growth at 51.6 for inventories. I wonder if to say Nigeria's business environment is becoming more friendly, can we say that? Well, we'll get comments from our guests, on the show. And I think the first person we're going to try to get her own perspective, or FDC, Financial Derivatives Company, perspective on this is Halima. Halima Adedinro is here with us for the second time this week. Halima, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
So we see growth index from the CBN PMI. Are we good? Is the country okay?
Okay, so for the PMI, I would say we are getting there, let me put it that way. And we'll see that there are some sectors that are really thriving in terms of output, in terms of employment, are really doing well, which is a positive one for our GDP and the outlook for the economy in general. But there's still issue of logistics, issue of infrastructure that is going to be like a way down on some of the sectors in Nigeria. So going forward, I think the picture is becoming clearer and more better than what it used to be, but there are still some things that needs to be put in place in order for us to really have a surge and a good output and performance, especially in the year. So,
and we say agriculture seems to be the one leading,
exactly,
over 53. And we know we always talk about commodity. This is planting season. Things are expensive, at least at this time, but we say agriculture seems to be good.
Agriculture, if we take cocoa, for instance, I think we did about 24% higher than what we did in Q4. So Q1 of 2025 was very good for cocoa, and I think the government too has increased the output, the projection for output to about 500,000 metric tons, which is going to help the non-oil receipt for Nigeria. So I think agriculture is getting the larger share of the contribution to the economy. And so I think it's a good one.
And services, I think after the tariff hike, telecommunication is doing well now, I guess.
Yeah, they are doing well because the increase in the tariff, one, has increased has reduced their cost. Let me put it that way. The cost that they used to be the one to shoulder. So some is now being passed to the household or the customers, which is a very good one for their profit outlook and their revenue.
It's
not good. It's not good for us. It's not good for us. The sectors are always pushing to households and individuals, but unfortunately, we don't have where to push it to. We either reduce our expenditure.
Let's push it to our employers.
But unfortunately, too, that has not been the issue. So either we reduce what we used to consume, or we stay out of the consumption entirely. So that has been the case for consumers generally in Nigeria. But I think it's going to be a better picture, especially for Q2. Though Q1 report isn't out yet, we expect it to be out as soon as the authority.
So on Tuesday, when we were here, we talked about how the naira appreciated, but the reverse is the case today.
Now, you know, I said earlier that the appreciation we saw wasn't because of
the value of the naira, also depreciation of the value of the dollar.
Yeah, because so many things are still lingering, like our remittances, which could be hit by the new tariff.
The one
new
on
tax,
the steel?
No, the one on the inflows, remittance inflows from African countries. So there is a tax, about 5%, that the U.S. government is placing on that. So that could be bad for us as a country, because remittance is meant to help in supporting our currency. So that's not a good one for Nigeria. And apart from that, if we look at the non-oil receipts too, it's just beefing up, is not yet there. So, and also for oil, I think we had a good one. Our output was about 1.48 million per barrel, which was an increase compared to what we had in, I think in March, which was 1.4.
Yes.
And so it's closer to our OPEC quota. So I think...
But very low compared to our target.
Our target. Then, coupled with the fact that the oil price in the global market is trending downwards.
Yes,
so though we have an increased output, but the price at which it will be exchanged or being sold or converted, it has dropped. So it might not really have an upsurge as expected. It could be just marginal increase.
So what's happening to our domestic commodities now? The festival is here. The roads are very busy. It took you a longer time to get here today.
You don't want to know that.
But I mean, Nigerians will still eat and celebrate
they will
and
definitely
take ram.
That's for sure. Also, for the commodities, we are seeing a mixed direction. But unfortunately for onion is really driving up seriously, and that is because of the flood in Kubwa. Kubwa happens to be the major hub of oil and onion production and trading. And so they are experiencing flood currently, which has led to a stall of trucks that's meant to bring in food. And you know, it's just like an interchange between the northern part and the southern part. So we are going to see a surge in food prices, especially agricultural food prices, because of this flood. That is number one. And also artificial increase, because you know demand has increased. So for now, those are the two major things. The flood and the festive period is going to have an upward drive on prices for commodities.
Yeah, well, Nigeria. I mean, at least by Tuesday or so, the festivities should be over.
Can we please
but
the effect of the flood will still be there.
Yes,
so it might take a while.
Okay. All right, Halima, thank you so much. And we wish you too a happy holiday. I know you'll be at work tomorrow.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's not fair. Thank you so much, Halima, the General Analyst in Financial Derivatives Company.
Thank you for having me.